औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम नहमदुहु व नस्सल्लु अला रसूलिहिल नबील हबीबिल करीम. Welcome to International Sufi Center. As our listeners are aware, we have been recording lectures, interviews, talks for our website internationalsuficenter.org. Today we have a mechanical engineering student, Ehsanullah. He is very ardent student, deeply interested in Sufi studies, philosophy and various human resources subjects besides his study of mechanical engineering. Today he has come to our center and he likes to take interview and also ask many questions and doubts which he has in respect of so many aspects of human life. So I welcome Mir Ehsanullah Sahab and ask him to proceed to ask his questions in Dakhni Urdu as well as in English, whichever is convenient to him, so that I can answer his queries to the best of my ability. अस्सलाम वालेकुम मीर एहसानुल्लाह साहब. वेलकम. आप जो भी है अपने सवालात पूछिए, जितना वक्त होना उतना लीजिए. इंशाअल्लाह ताला मेरे तरफ से आपको जो हो सकता है वो समझाऊंगा. बताइए, पूछिए.
चलिए अंकल, आपके पहली बुक में जो आपकी किताब में है और कुरान में भी जो है,
कौन सी पहली किताब नाम?
फंडामेंटल्स ऑफ सूफीज़म.
हाँ, फंडामेंटल्स ऑफ सूफीज़म. पूछिए.
उसमें नफ्स के 3 टाइप्स हैं.
जी जी.
नफ्स अमारा, नफ्स लवामा और नफ्स मुतमइन्ना.
जी.
मगर अकॉर्डिंग टू इमाम अल-गज़ाली his teachings, there are 7 types of nafs.
करेक्ट, 7 टाइप्स ही ठीक है, लेकिन ये इब्तदाई फंडामेंटल बोल के हमें दिए ही यहाँ किताब का नाम. फंडामेंटल मीन्स ओनली बेसिक. First necessary to know about the fundamental basics are नफ्स अमारा, नफ्स लवामा, नफ्स मुतमइन्ना. उसके ऊपर जो है नफ्स राजिया, नफ्स स्वाहाबी, नफ्स सालिही, नफ्स पैगम्बरान. तो ये कॉन्शियसनेस के दर्जे ही. ह्यूमन बीइंग, आप क्या समझते हैं कितने सदियों से इंसान दुनिया पे है?
ले सकते हैं.
आप स्कूल में पढ़े हैं ना, बायोलॉजी में. एवोल्यूशन हुआ है ह्यूमन अर्थ का. अर्थ के मिलियंस ऑफ ईयर्स. So you are carrying the genes of millions of years. Evolution. You are carrying within you the genes of those ancestors. Billions of years. So now you are in a cultured society. You are in a society which is fully evolved with lot of comforts. आपको जो है वो जहमत नहीं दे दी जाए कि आपको जाके फायर वुड कलेक्ट करके लाए. आज तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आ गई है, इलेक्ट्रिकल गैजेट्स आ गए हैं, तो आपकी ज़िंदगी बड़ी आराम ऐश व इस्रत से गुजर रही है. तो आज के अंदर वो जानवरपन नहीं है जो यू हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट योरसेल्फ. द सोसाइटी प्रोटेक्ट्स यू ऑन एवरी इन ह्यूज स्टेट, टाउन, municipality, town, and then cities, and then whole nation. So we have lot of departments created to protect an individual like you and me. They are creating food, and food is packed and it is supplied to you. You are specialized in some subject, you become an engineer, you earn your bread, you come and live in comfort. So there is nobody outside there standing to rob you, to kill you, to hurt you, because everything is evolved and cultured. So this uncultured, in all inhabitants, you have to protect yourself, protect your nafs, your mate, your children, and protect yourself from the climate, from environment. So much things were there for a single individual to live in on the earth. But the human beings formed into groups, into societies, into huge structure, and we have evolved. So in the initial stages, the lot of fears are there in the mind and heart, from animals Anytime any animal come and eat you up. Carnivorous animals. There are a lot of insects, there are a lot of reptiles, snakes, others. So you are totally protected today. You don't see a single reptile on the road or on the way. All roads have been laid down. Most important, you have got very good sanitation. There was no sanitation then. You had to go into open fields, and a lot of diseases were coming. There were no medical doctors. Today the science and technology and knowledge has increased so much that the basic feelings of consciousness, of animal consciousness, has disappeared totally. So the first consciousness is nafse amara. That is so far as outer is concerned, outer life is concerned. But inner life, you continue to have those feelings of anger, jealousy, hatred, greed, sex, lust. All these things are basic to the human life, human feelings. But the culture protects you. It gives you lessons. That when you are going on the road, if you see a beautiful woman, you don't catch her and bring her to your home. You know it is an offense, it is bad, you should not hurt anybody, you should not. So certain rules, regulations have come to. So your animal consciousness has been subdued to a large extent, 90%, 95%. You are total under culture. So now you are in a stage of nafse lavama. Nafse lavama is rules, regulations, courtesy, manners, gentlemanliness, charity, compassion, helping others, taking help from others. All these things are part of nafse lavama. It's moral consciousness. The earlier consciousness was animal consciousness, and now you are in a moral consciousness. You have got morality. You are governed by morality. Then you work for your evolution of your own spirit. You want to become a better person, a gentlemanly person, a spiritual person. You look into the universe, you look into the world, you look into the sufferings, good things, bad things, everything. Then you realize these good and bad things, where is it coming from? It is coming from your own inner consciousness. When you look at a injured pet on the road, a dog, a cat, immediately you feel like helping that dog or a help. You give food, you give some medicine. So also to any human being who is suffering and lying on the road, or a beggar, you take out money and give. That is the smallest manner. That grows up into huge aspect in your mind and heart. So you develop so much compassion, so much mercy, so much of goodness in you that you become personification of goodness. You become a great individual. So there your consciousness has grown to divine consciousness, and you are at peace. Nothing can disturb you. No wrong, no evil can come and disturb you outside or inside. Your mind and heart is so sober, so serene, so soft. You must have heard as a child some great names like Mother Teresa. And you know in every currency note there is a photo of Mahatma Gandhi. You read about the history, how he has struggled, how he has fought against the British rule, what great qualities he had. Now today there are so many bad people around, bad politicians who are trying to harm. They don't listen to the public. They're being on their own whims and fancies, some rule. It creates lot of chaos. Those people have no sympathy. You begin to realize, yes, their heart is not soft. Hard-hearted people. So you have realized these things and you work so much for the humanity that your mind and heart becomes very soft, very kind. So such the people around them realize that these are all very godly people. They realize what God is and all those things, a creator. Maybe creator must be greater than this. If you go back to the oldest stage of animal stage, how they were, and now if you see such a huge person with such high qualities, so simple, so humble, so kind, so affectionate, so loving, you begin to realize he is a different, he is an avatar, he may be a god. Because for an animal type of a person, when he sees this type of a huge genius before him, he looks so big, huge like a Hanuman or a Rama or a Krishna or all great prophets of the Israels. So they begin to revere and say, yes, they are people. They have got all solutions for my problem. It may be For them, these problems were so mighty. But for the today's modern evolved man, those problems are nothing. They are all solved. Either sanitation or health or transplanting heart or transplanting organs or having ophthalmist around you who gives you correct lenses to your eyes. Everything is there. You feel as if you are in heaven. But the opposite is also true, because there are so many people who are not satisfied with what we have today in the world. They want more and more good things to happen. More greed is there. There are so many new hotels are there. So much of entertainment is there. So much of glamour is there. Glitter is there. They are all inviting you. Come on, come on, come on. They make you spend. But you live such a haphazard life into this type of glamour and all. You get drowned into it that you lose your consciousness, and you slowly and steadily you go back to the older stage. There is a retrogression in your manners, retrogression in your spirits. You lose everything, and what your forefathers and all have worked hard to earn. Suddenly people realize you are a problem to the society. Then you take so many steps, maybe innocently or good. They are all very wrong steps for societies, for their norms and living. So they accuse you of a brutal man, a brute. They'll say you are a brute. But the man, when he was staying, he didn't call himself as a brute then, millions of years back. He called himself as an evolved person, looking into thousands of animals around. But today you call him a brute, because you feel you are an angel. When a person behaves like a brute, they will be sent to the jail, they will be sent to correctional administration, they will be punished. If the wrong is so very mighty and great, he has done it deliberately, then in various cultures, various type of punishments are given. He will plead innocent. I am better than the brute who was there. Maybe I misused the aspect of the present living. I misused it. So this consciousness in your mind and heart develops from earliest consciousness. So at those times, about 1400 years, when Islam came and all, when great prophet has come, at the time what man could understand from God's scriptures was that these 7 consciousness there. Now with so much of study of psychology and psychiatry, psychoanalysis and all those things, they know how the human growth and development takes place. How many consciousness, there is child psychology, there is youth psychology, there is school psychology, and for every aspect the psychology has developed to understand what human behavior is. So if a person has not been properly behaving, there are correctional administration, psychology, psychiatry, they try to find out his mind. Is it due to any retrogression in his evolutionary aspects? Is it DNA change, or a mutation has taken place? Or is it due to certain influence of drugs? Or is it due to influence of society? Or is it due to what influences is making him retrograde? Is he born with mentally retardedness? What is his IQ? A normal IQ has been found out, intelligent quotient. Whether this intelligent quotient is above, he is a highly brilliant genius, or he is just a muffled, dullard, stupid. And there are various lower intelligent quotients which named idiot. They're all intelligent quotient words. Idiot, mentally retarded. They don't have consciousness at all. The mind and brain has not grown. So today, the society also wants to tear open all the ancient beliefs. Those people are referred to as atheists. They don't believe in God norms. They say all these norms and morals the religion has given. We should have an inquiring mind. You ask them, what about morals? Yes, you understand everything, make inquiries and follow what is good, what is bad. Who brought this good and bad? It was brought to us from... They stop answering beyond a particular point. So in the book which you referred, which is before me here, Fundamentals of Sufism, we are referring to the basic 3 types of nafs, consciousness. One which is a brutish, where in that type of animal consciousness which you have, I listed out the 7 evils: anger, jealousy, lust, greed, sloth, slumber, and gluttony, eating too much. So all these are, then they are very fine sentiments in human beings. How it has come? Love, graciousness, kindness, affection, charity, mercy, benevolence. So these are all high qualities which is endowed in human being. But that has to be cultured. Then there are various other qualities in human beings. Inquiry, then imagination. Then through imagination you get poetry, you get music, you get arts, you get painting. Then you have got engineering skills in you. That develops into a huge, you become a great engineer. You can imagine, you can know your fundamentals of physics, engineering, chemistry, everything has been taught to you. Design and mechanics has been taught to you. So robot engineering has been taught to you. Physics, details of physics, these are all not there in the ancient man. So from ancient man to now, from generations and generations and generations, you have grown into a great personality. So, but now when a child is born, he is not born with the modern thinking or modern. He has to be brought up to that level as a child, from child. The mother has to be trained, the father has to be trained. There has to be a culture of the modern society in which the child has to be grown. So the child faces a great turmoil because when he is born with all those ancient instincts. These ancient instincts in the child has to be refined with very great moral training. Then slowly he grows up, and then his education begins at 2 years. At the age of 2 years he is put in a schooling, child school. So slowly and steadily he is brought to the modern stage of electronic stage, a nano stage, nuclear stage. So you have already, by the age of 20, you have acquired all the new technological things, and you are growing. The equipment has been given you to grow. But what those who have not been given? They don't understand. They depend on intelligent people. The intelligent expect these people to be at least having certain common sense, that they should behavior. Now we are talking about consciousness. They say expect them to have certain basic behavioral patterns so that they can become, at least not commit crimes. A crime-ridden society, they just walk into the houses, break open everything, eat everything, kill everybody, snatch away and go away, do such type of wrong. That is not happening in a cultured society. So this is the description of high consciousness given by Imam Ghazali is based beyond the level of good people who were there. His consciousness was there, his own consciousness, Nafse Mutmainna and Razia. But he knew that there were very great people who have come on the earth, like saints and prophets and nabis. So he cannot call themselves having Nafse Amara. The Nabis and Paigambars are having very great conscience. They are seers, S-E-E-R. Seer is who can visualize and see the future of humanity. They are such a high IQ people. It's very high consciousness, very high characteristics. You feel as if the God has come down in them, the fairies have come down, the angels have come down in them. Angelic qualities. So they have answers for all problems that is in their time and what may arise in future times. So they give all those dictas, their knowledge and their wisdom and experience. So Imam Ghazali can think only up to his consciousness, but he can visualize what these great people have come, whom we have to bow down before them, the Nabis, the Rasuls, the Awliyas. So when you add up their consciousness, you come to seven consciousness. Now you can proceed to ask next question.
Next question.
Come on, look into your question.
No, those are the 7 types of nafs.
Yes, that I have answered now. Salihin, nafs and salihin is there, nafs abidin is there, nafs abid is those who are in deep penance. If you go to the period of Buddha, the Buddhist monks, even Buddha sat in meditation and Mahavira sat in meditation. They kept asking questions to themselves. Who am I? Where have I come from? Why people suffer? What are we to achieve in this world? What is life? They were able to get answers, brilliant answers, because the mind is so meditative. They sat in penance. Then they learned the method of meditation. They passed on their knowledge 80,000 sutras are there of Buddha. Then he said right type of thinking, right of talk, right type of manners, right of speech. He gave eightfold path, middle path. So also Mahavira also. So they were 5,000 years old. Beyond that also humanity had created several civilizations. So they gave structures, and these Buddhist monks used to sit in caves for meditation to achieve that higher plane of consciousness, to improve their level of consciousness from ordinary person, ordinary human brute level to the high angelic and godly level. It is same mind, same heart, but it is only your high thinking, high level of meditation that purifies your mind, purifies your soul, and purifies your heart. So when we talk about fundamentals of Sufism, we are only talking about how to evolve your inner consciousness. Outer life is there, so many things are there. They disturb your mind, they distract your mind.
How do you maintain that?
That is why you have a culture, you have a master. He takes you along. Slowly and steadily, when you get all sorts of doubts and all, he has already gone through this. So he is at a higher plane. So when you are in his company, he will slowly pick you up. When you were 5 years old, you learned all the alphabets. You were in first nursery, junior nursery, senior nursery, first standard. How did you develop till engineering? Now you have maybe another 2 years, your engineering is over. Then you will go for MS, then you will go for PhD. But your level of education is not the same as you are in PUC. Same thing, basic fundamental Newton's law of motion might have been taught to you in PUC. But when you are in the high level of doctorate, you know how this principle of Newton's laws work in the cosmos. We are intangible. Our Earth and our universe of sun and all the planets are not visible. When you look into the sky, you see billions of stars. Each is a sun. So where is your position in consciousness, in your universe? You are nobody. But why do you feel so much pride, so much anger, so much of arrogance? Because you forget what you are. So if you want to develop, you have to see within yourself what you are. Oh, I am like this. I am having so much pride, so much arrogance, so much. So humility is the first lesson of wisdom. Patience is the mother of virtue. So anger and jealousy are the twin sisters of inner tsunami. So on all these topics we have tried to bring out in this book, Fundamentals of Sufism, and try to enlighten you. These are the what your inner consciousness is about. Then the religion has come which says, no, you must have these practices, you must follow these principles, which is only to see that your inner consciousness is purified. Whether you take any religion. So there are so many superstitions are there, mythologies are there, due to fear it has come up. All falsehood has come into the human living. So you have to remove this falsehood from your mind and achieve truth. Truth, beauty are the two important things. Satya, prema. Then you can achieve it only through ahimsa. Ahimsa is non-violence. Non-violence not just to outside people, but non-violence to yourself. In your food, in your living habits, in your sleep, in your behavior, there has to be non-violence. You should be very courteous, you should be very soft, you should have a golden language, golden talk. Even in your worst of your moods, you should not show your anger. Anger is the biggest non-violence. So how to cultivate that garden in you? So these evolved persons who were achieved some mastery over their self, they were labeled as purified ones. The translation of a Sufi is a purified person. Suf means one who are wearing wools. It also means one who purified his mind and heart. So the system of governance which is there through religion at that time, they were strictly following it also. This is outward. Inward also there is a lot of instructions which they had to follow, and they have followed those instructions thoroughly. So what is outside law how to govern a human being in his daily life is Shariat. How to behave, conduct inside your mind and heart is Tariqat. That subject is Tariqat. How to evolve yourself is Haqiqat. How to reach truth. How to realize truth. How to realize Satya. Satya, Prema, Sundaram, beauty. A life has to be made beautiful. If a beautiful garden is created, how happy you feel that seeing a jungle. Various varieties of flowers arranged in a very beautiful way. So is embroidery, so is painting, so is architecture. So these all have arisen from human mind. But you cannot suddenly acquire that. You have to go through training. If you want to become an architect, to create beautiful designs, you have to learn the basics, fundamental. From home, you cannot learn on your own. There has to be a teacher. Whatever subject you may take in the world, there has to be a teacher to learn from them. So that is why that teacher in Persian was called, in Arabic first they called it as a Murshid, Ustad, Paighambar, Nabi. They were all guided by unknown destinies, unknown powers. They had to give a name to that unknown power. They called it Khuda, they called it Allah, they called it Ishwar, they called it various names they gave. But they were able to, in their mind and heart, connect to that higher consciousness. They knew there is a power there which has all this beauty, which has all this Satya, the truth. It has this Prema, love. So they realized what could be the most basic thing one should start with, the alphabet A of human living. That is when you are born, you had a mother, you come from a mother's womb. And what did the mother give you? Love. Milk is the food for your growth. But she gave you love. How she used to cuddle you in her arms. How she, even a little slightest insect bite she would not tolerate. She protect you from everything. And you had to grow in her arms for not 1 day, 2 days. Months and years together. And now you become so identified with your mother's personality, even some harm takes place, you will call it Amma. Oh, me, you will call it. Because you want that protection, you want that love. So the alphabet A of human living is love. Then you want to see everything in the correct form, that is truth. So truth is ever living. Always the truth repeats itself. Truth is beautiful. Beauty is truth. Truth is beauty. So fundamentals are ABCD of spirituality, which you call nafs training and all this, or Sufism, or Vedanta, or whatever it is, Guru-Shishya relationship, starts with your submission. You have to submit yourself. That is, submission is known as Islam. To submit to the will of the God. The will of the God is love. God wants human beings to live with love, with brotherhood, help each other, compassion, mercy, justice. There has to be justice always. There should be no hurt. You should not hurt yourself, nor you should hurt others. For that you need to cultivate your inner being. That is what is the conquering of your nafs. That is what is the greatest jihad. That can be through your training. First through a mother's lap, then your teacher, then your own self-propagation. With your own self-knowledge, you have to conquer your inner being. Inner being has got these fundamental emotional things which I mentioned to you. First is when you mentioned food, what mother gives. Yes, you have hunger, you have got thirst. And when you have got injured, you cry, you want to be safeguarded, safety. So all these inner feelings have to be understood fully. And you want your own things to yourself. You want everything to yourself. Take a child to a toy shop. The child will ask, which one do you want? He is confused. Which toy he should take? For a long time in the shop, he will be confused. He will try to play with this, will play with that, he will break with that. Then he will say, I want this. Then after some time, he will say, I want this. So your mind is like that. It's not your child in you who continues to remain where you are not satisfied at all with the living. When you buy a good shirt, then you go to your college, you'll find many people wearing better shirts, branded shirts, and what beautiful shirts. You feel so sad. Your mother will ask you, why are you feeling so sad? Oh, no, nothing. Then you will say, no, tell me, my son, I'll help you out. Yeah, no, I am not happy with one shirt. I want another 2, 3 shirts. Every day they come with new shirts. Your mother will say, we are very poor people. Where can we get all this? I had to save the whole year to give you as a birthday present. Then you must learn to be within your means. But your inner desire is so much, you get frustrated. Then you want to fulfill your desire. Somehow you want to do some work in the evening and earn some money. While doing so, you will lose your concentration in your studies. So you will develop mental problem. So that is why the teachers will say, higher spiritual, be content, be patient. The time will come when you will learn. Concentrate on your education, concentrate on your meditation. If you have good concentration, good meditation, then your memory will improve. Whatever you read you will not be disturbed, you will not be frustrated. When you have desires, it is not fulfilled, you get frustrated. Frustration will lead to all sorts of problems. So that is why all these great Buddha, Mahavira, Jesus, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, all have said, curb your desires. It doesn't mean you should not have free. Now the atheists will say nothing like it, go enjoy, dude. But where, sir? Where are we to enjoy? We have no means. We are living in a very small house, 20 by 20 house. We have all these problems. You are all rich people. You are in a very grandeur and American people. You have a lot of wealth. You can talk like this. But come to these poor people, you will see they need some comfort. They need hope. They need some sort of a solace so that they can be told there is a future for you. Time will come when you learn. When you earn, don't spend everything on your desire of buying 5 shirts. They will say no, buy only 1 shirt and keep money of the 4 shirt for other needs. So you will be told and taught how to regulate your earnings, how to save, why saving has to be done, why insurance has to be done for your health, for your car, for your house, for your parents. So that all these difficulties which life brings, you are secure. There has to be good security for you. So as the times are marching forward and times are becoming more modern and modern, the human needs are also increasing. So you have to wade through these rough tsunamis. You should know how to rough storms and tempests and all this which is in your life. You should be fully equipped to face it. Life is like going to a war. You have to have very sturdy, strong soldiers who are fully trained. You should know who your enemies are. You should have a strategy. You should have proper food supplies. You should have advanced equipments. If you are not having equipment, you don't have training and you are not there, then you will lose the war. So all these aspects of religion are only to equip you to face the life wonderfully. And you pass out in this test of examination of life in a wonderful colors. Then you have achieved peace. That is what in God says, Sakinatul Qulubil Muminin. I put comfort and peace in the hearts of humanity. So it's not one individual. It has to be the whole population of people. That is collective consciousness. The entire collective consciousness work. Collectively, if we work in an evil way, we all get drowned. We get destroyed. If we work in a very happy manner. So the ancient societies like Afghan people who were Taliban, Mujahideen, uneducated society, they only knew they want some weapons to kill. Somehow people were there to supply them weapons and they killed each other. And even a strongest army in the world, combined army of the whole world, NATO, they went to destroy these junglis, these brutes. They could not. Because the brutish power is so mighty, you know. Brutish power has to be conquered. It cannot be conquered through weapons. That's what Mahatma Gandhi said. No, you cannot conquer brute through a weapon. You can only conquer through love.
But according to them, they are right.
No, maybe, but killing is not the way
That
of
is
life,
true.
no? You are not achieving what your higher consciousness desires you to.
But they use
You want to only
religion.
kill and satisfy yourself. They kept on killing civilians also. And why they are doing all this? To grab power. Grab power for what? They have a assumed thinking of laws in their mind, which they have not developed into a modern mind. They say if somebody does a wrong, you kill them. You want, and there no education, no higher production of goods and utilities, no higher production of food and all those things. Then you become impoverished. You don't know how to face the nature's wrath. You're not prepared. And these brutes want to live in that brutish way. And they say that brutish way of law is correct. NATO, who wants to conquer them, could not conquer because the brutish power is more violent. Violence cannot be won through violence. It is only through peace, love. That's what Jesus said. Love is all. Love is God. Through love, we have to conquer them. But they were not prepared. They said, no, don't come inside our country. We want power. There were so many, their own forces were there who spoke about love, who spoke about higher thinking, education, this and that. They said, no, nothing. Women has to be fully in covered, 100% covered. She should not have education. So they had all sorts of ancient thinking. And that destroyed their society. They destroyed the people. They went back to thousands of years. Either it is Iraq or Syria or... But the mistake of the modern countries is they think that because of their might is right. Might cannot be right. You cannot conquer human spirit through your might. You have to win through love. So that is what is Sufism. Sufism says love and love alone can win human beings. Love is a divine gift from God. The difference between a human being and a brute is a human being is having love, sympathy, empathy. All these things are there, all these fine sentiments human being. You have to cultivate that. Cultivate great gardens in your mind and heart. Ask me more and more so that
So I
I
have
can
another question. It's not related to Sufism.
Does not matter.
So
Whatever
in
you ask.
modern times, when we are interconnected by internet, so anything happening across the world, we can see it right now.
Yes.
So in TVs and in news channels and etc., a lot of negative things which are portrayed.
That is why you are having a master to tell you these negative things are coming from a evil mind. Is a brutish mind. They know it's so easy to capture minds of youth when they show desires. When they show, there's advertisement. The company wants to make money who is showing these advertisements. Marketing company, entertainment company. See, there is so much of competition between man and man for survival. You start one business, 100 people are already there. So only a survival of the fittest can succeed. So what they do, they know the cheapest method by which your cheap desires can be evoked in your mind and heart so quickly. So they show dance because sex is such a thing in human mind. It pleases the mind and heart when they see music and sex and all that. It's like a toffee. And they get addicted to it. And you want more and more, more and more. So when you want to reach higher consciousness, you have to put curves in your own mind and heart. You have to be your own policeman. There should be no other policeman like your mother, father, policing you in your mind and heart. They are all devilish. That is why we say all these things which invokes your desires and unhealthy desires. We say it is Saturn. There is no separate Saturn living inside our mind and heart. It is our own devilish thinking, inverted thinking, pervert thinking. How do you remove your perversions? How do you control your evilness in your mind and heart? Either you go for yoga, you go to some system by which you have to follow one system. You cannot have a chow bhat in this spirituality. But if you can't become a fanatic, you should never become a fanatic. You should be a very scientific, evolved spiritualist. So the Sufism in Islam teaches you to be an evolved human being, a good human being, extremely charitable, benevolent, hardworking, with wisdom, with experience and wisdom. You develop lot of good things. So much of knowledge is there which is imparted in this science on all aspects of human behavior. I have to practice it. Without practicing, just reading and keeping it quiet and then again going and taking your bangas or taking your guitar and saying ha ha ha, shouting at top of your voice. No, you hear the music for some time, it delights you. Pure music, classical music delights you. Even modern music, you need it because your youth in you makes you jump to the drum and the strings. It gives you, but you should not remain too much attached to it. Have a middle path. For 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, yes, entertained. Now you must go back to your books because your exam is more important. Equipping your knowledge. Because you may say, why? Otherwise you will become only as the Muslims are being today called as the puncture walas. They are calling, oh, you are all puncture walas. You don't have knowledge. In your chest there are no 2 alphabets. That is what some MP was calling Muslims when they were agitating for removal of certain laws which have come. He was saying, you are all puncture walas. You don't have 2 healthy words in your bosom. So what will happen if you don't educate yourself? So the knowledge is power. What is power? How do you get power in you and mind and heart? Because we are equipped with better knowledge, better information. You must become very sharp, witty, humorous. Humor will not come to you so easily. Wit will not come because you may have grief in your mind and heart. You may be feeling unhappy with so many things. So your mind and heart will become very, very depressed. There will be depression in your mind and heart. So where is humor? So you have to first get over your depression so that humor can come in you. So you can enjoy life. Life is meant to be enjoyed at the same time to safeguard the life also with all safeguards. If you don't have safety guards as you have for every machine, every factory or in very big buildings, safety measures are installed, fire equipments are kept there. So many things are. Likewise, we have to install safety measures in your mind and heart. You have a wonderful motorbike, very good. But you have to be very cautious while driving on the road. You can't be negligent. You can't go at your own speed. Every day you see in the newspaper, all the cars are ramming into some stones and they are dashing so many people dying because they have not exerted patience. They are drunken behavior and drunken driving or going at high speed, reckless speed in a traffic zone. So these are, for everything in aspect, rules and regulations have been laid down. You have to equip yourself with knowledge so that you know all these things and live a better, happy, healthy life. Your life is full, 90 years or all. You have good children, grandchildren. If you don't do all these things, you will have not a problem. You must live within your means. What you earn, you must save it also. Insure yourself. All these aspects of modern life, you have to learn. Just not to say, I become a spiritualist, I will sit in the cave. But who will feed you? There were rules and regulations at that time when Buddhist monks were in meditation. It was duty. They used to go for bhiksha, that is for begging. The whole populace will be waiting for the monks to come and collect their food. They used to consider as a very pious act. They used to, even if you go to Thailand and Cambodia and where this Buddhist people say, they all go to for seeking food in their bowl of every day, and there are people give them. The society was like that. The landowners and agricultural people, everyone were ready each day with food for the monks. They felt that the monks had such powers to keep the nature in happy state. So, but this society has changed now. In New York or in Bombay or in Calcutta, can the monks live there? Can these population feed them? But changes have come in all over our life. So you are fortunate, you are in a very good locality, you have a very good house. Maybe it may not be a modern house like this which we are sitting now, but it will come. When wealth comes, there will be your house. There can be some contractor or some builder will come and say, "I'll give you 50% of the building which I construct." You will become a rich man. Even now you can enter into that, and again, but he will take care. He will give you a good flat till you do it. But there has to be a will. There has to be imagination. There has to be business tactics. So many things are required to become rich. Wealth is there. You are sitting on wealth. Earth itself is a wealth. Environment is a wealth. But you should know how to tap it for your benefit. It's so easy. You are a grown-up man, then suddenly a builder will come and say, all right, I will construct 4 floors, 2 floors, I will give it to you. And you are rich already. He says, yes, you must take care of us till such time as the building is ready. There is a contract, there is agreement, everything is done. Fine. And now you have wealth, you can lay down and lie back and acquire as much as you want, enjoy as much as you want. Now you have got a lot of leisure. Because your wealth is there, wealth will bring leisure. Then because you have leisure, you want to have so many good entertainments, so many music, so many movies, and you want to go world over and see all countries. Every day you want to go to one restaurant. And you suddenly start taking drinks also. You'll go become member of so many clubs in Bangalore, club, Boring Institute, City Club, this club, that club. See how the wealth will spoil you? Money corrupts absolutely and absolute money corrupts absolutely. So in order to become a chaste person, you have to know how to use the benefit of the money also which you come for charity, for goodness. Even if you become so charitable, you should not become a beggar. You should know how to give also. You pay your taxes and be discreet in giving. Otherwise, everyone will come around you, all your relatives, and start pinching you for money. So you should know how to safeguard your wealth also. If you don't safeguard your wealth which you earn, you will be a fool. So you must get over your foolishness. Man is a knave, K-N-A-V, fool. Why do people call us fool? Because we do such foolish wrong things, wrong decisions we take, do idiotic things. Because we don't have proper knowledge, training. We don't know what we are doing, whether it is going to give us benefit or it is foolish. Everybody will say, hey, you fool, they will say. So there are so many evil things which you do, people will give you more names. They will call you rascal, they will call you idiot, they will call you this, that and all that. So character and conduct are the most important thing for human being. They are the key and glory of life. For that you need some sort of practice, meditation, prayers, namaz, salat, roza, fasting, charity. This will regulate your inner being. Your inner being should not become a devil. Your inner being should become an angel. I may be talking so many things in one speed. That's why I'm recording so that you can hear again and again. If you read the basic fundamentals of Sufism, it is there. You don't have to, if you want to have more, you go to Ghazali, you read so many other modern writers also, you have so much knowledge is there. But for ABC of Sufism, this book was brought out with explaining these 3 important consciousness. You know about it. You already know it. Every human being knows it. But only thing is we have to classify it, put it in a proper format, and learn where exactly we have to start our steps, A, B, C, D, the alphabets, how to proceed. Once you have proceeded, learned, then you apply for a license, you get a license. For anything you need a license today, either driving or starting a factory or anything and anything, there are rules and regulations have been laid down. Unless you master the rules and regulations, the society will not permit you to function. So all this goal, what is the goal of life? What is the goal of life? Why life? What are we to achieve in this life? Goodness, love, goodness, affection. That is what is moksha, which Hinduism working for. Jainism work, Buddhism, they say moksha. If you don't do all these things, you will go back to this world again. Transmigration of soul, you will be born as a cow, as an animal, or this, that. We don't know. There was only a method by which they wanted to teach humanity to become very pure persons. They can achieve ahimsa, non-violence, moksha, dharma. Dharma is charity. Same thing is described in a different terminologies. But human being is the same, soul is the same, consciousness is the same. It has not changed. You give different terminologies. Some sort of a moral fear has to be given to you also. Man is very courageous and he can do anything. I told you the example of war in Afghanistan, Syria and Iraq. So they are just, no, they are so stubborn that no, what we say is correct, our religion is correct, our method of interpreting religion is correct. There are hundreds of interpretations. But they say our method is correct, might is right, violence is the way by which we achieve power. But Buddha says no, it's not through violence. Mahatma Gandhi followed that script of non-violence and achieved independence. So in our life we have to achieve non-violence in our conduct, in our behavior, and we have to chalk out our future. We have a calendar of events. They say you have been given certain life and there is an average life a human being lives. And there are a number of stages of life. Now you are in a studenthood, you are entering into a job. So many years of internship will be there. How to get over this internship? Suddenly when you are in internship, certain happenings may take place in your family. That will disturb you. So before such happenings takes place, you must be in a strong steed, S-T-A-D. That is, the steed is the seat of the horse on which you go. You should be in a very comfortable seat. And you should be able to drive properly. A rudder has to be there to the ship. Rudderless ship will go into the havoc in the ocean. So when you create certain good ideas, good morals, good aims and objectives, good goals, the goal of life is to achieve peace, tranquility, to fulfill the life. What life desires, you fulfill it. That is what Hinduism say moksha. Achieve moksha. You have to live. There is a time when you earn, there is a time when you give up. The time will come when you will shut all these things in mind and heart and you want peace. You want only that higher consciousness. You label it God, whatever it is, angels, good things of life, goodness. When you don't have desire, you are desireless, you are pure. You have all satisfied. You only take one chapati or one fruit and a glass of milk. Only necessities to keep your body and soul together in a pure form. If you take gluttony at that age, you will develop diabetics, you will develop blood pressure, you will develop so many illnesses. Then you will realize, oh, I should have I had heard all this, so much I heard, I never practiced it. Today I am suffering. So to get over this suffering, the great masters who have lived, who understood what the suffering is, they have given these lessons and teachings to us, which it is useful for us to follow. Because of the teachings, we have come up to engineering level. Otherwise, what would have happened? Maybe your father would have asked you to join some as a sales representative, or as a mechanic, or as a puncture wala. You don't know. So it is your education, no? Good school, that too. If you are not studied in a good school, what would have happened? All sorts of ruffians would be there in the class. They would have dragged you to this and that. So there are so many dens around you. There are prostitution den is there. There is alcoholic den is there. There is a gambling den is there. You are avoiding already all these things because you have realized they are all wrong. They are all devils. They will destroy you. Drugs is there. So many things are already there surrounding. So you have to wade through this and take a path, a straight path to your goal. Straight path is the path to the goal of everlasting peace, everlasting goodness, everlasting ahimsa, non-violence, everlasting truth, everlasting beauty, everlasting love. Ask more questions.
So, as you said, you should reject all these myths and superstitions.
Yes.
So, what if your parents are following that, and when you tell them that it's wrong, they do not take it in a right manner?
Why do you want to become a teacher already?
No, because they keep saying...
Now let them say, you hear it 1 year and leave it in the other year. You are a modern youth. Don't oppose them because you have a duty towards your parents. You have come up to this place because of your parents. Maybe they have got a lot of fears. They take it as an important lesson that maybe it is an innocent myth and innocent superstition. in superstition which may not hurt humanity. And that may be as a method of reaching the goal. That superstition which they were believing in, maybe as a comfort for them. They might have learnt it in their life to ward off their own difficulties and all those things by accepting that myth. That is why you have to follow. You have to just ignore it. Whatever they may do from both sides, which come from the people or from their parents, and so long as it comes to hurt you, you defend. When it is a harmless superstition, harmless myth, what is wrong? You just ignore it. If you find some benefit, accept it. You don't find accept it. Just before them, you nod their head in a note of respect for their age, for all that they have done. But it requires for you a lot of patience. Otherwise, you will be in a state of loss. You should not hurt. That is again, if you hurt, then you are a jungli. You are again brute.
That is what if you are defending and they get hurt.
Yes, they will get hurt. Why do you hurt them? Yes, it's all right. You say nod your head, and for their satisfaction, just do it. And when your time comes, when you with your inquiries, with your knowledge, when you follow the right thing, and it is not that the myth will not enter your mind and heart. Myth is ever living. Superstition is ever living, because your bad luck which is there for every human being, man's actions are associated with bad luck also, destiny. There the superstition will arise. Oh, the black cat has passed by from the wrong side, on the left side to right side. Now, because of that I had a misfortune. Oh, 13 is a bad number. Oh, it is Rahu Kala and Gudi Kala and all this. During this period, I started the work and I have suffered. So these are all experience of human beings. They are trying to analyze why the bad luck has come to them. When with all their efforts they could not succeed. So they have to blame somebody. They blame the 13th Friday. They blame the black cat. They blame at the time when I was going for work, the glass fell down and broke. The mirror fell down and broke. So there are list of thousands of such superstitions. This is ever living. This thing keeps coming in human mind and heart. You can never wait that. You can never remove it. Superstition and myths are mingled in our thinking and living. So where there is irrationality, you have to keep quiet and not accept it. It is totally irrational. Maybe myth and superstition. See, there is in some temple worships, there was a Devadasi system. There was a goddess by name Yellama, and they would small children would be dedicated and dedicated to Yellama, and they grow up, and they used to sell their bodies, and with that living they used to maintain their families. In Karnataka and North Karnataka, the government has banned anyone practicing or incarcerated, jailed for 5 years. But yet a very high Devadasi system is being practiced. It's an evil practice. Such type of evils are there. There are also bad, evil superstitions. It's against human contact, human decent living. It is not so. Do you think that is not there in our religion? It is there as much as it is there in any religion, because the human weakness. They feel we have to dedicate. They feel that if we go for Umrah every year, their wrongs will be satisfied. They take loan and go. And they don't know what they are doing in that Umrah and Hajj. They are sacrificing goats, they are sacrificing camels. If you go to lower residential localities on the Eid day, sacrificing Eid day, you will say they are sacrificing camels. They say, no, I get so much of benefit from it. So much of sawab, they say. Sawab is benefit. What benefit? You are spending 20, 40, 50,000, 1 lakh rupees. Same money you could have given it to poor people, hungry people. That would have brought you this sawab. Instead of going for 12 umrahs, if you had given that money to very really deserving people for children's education, for cancer patients, for TB patients, for widows, the benefit from Allah would have been more to you from God. They don't realize this. So that's why you should ignore those superstitions which are dangerous to human society, and accept good superstitions which are meant for only correcting our inner life. There are so many good superstitions like performing the prophet's birthday or performing saints' birthdays. The strict Muslims will say they are all bad things, but they are all very good things. You are remembering your prophet, his life, you are cooking some food and giving it to poor people. So they are all good things. It may be obnoxious for you, but it is bringing some good. Those are not bid'ats. They all are good things for life. The good things of life, to remember the life of saints, to remember the life of prophet. So they are all good for society. It may be a superstition, but it may be good superstition which will benefit us in our life. Ask more questions.
So, in a time when people oppose Sufism and they call it bid'at or shirk, and this has a negative impact on you.
No, that is correct. Because they are all those type of people who are very fanatics. What is Sufism? They have not understood what Sufism is. They think performing these superstitious thing of reciting salam to Prophet ﷺ, or performing the Prophet's birthday, or performing the birthday of saints is bid'at. But it is, as I just now told you, there are certain good superstitions. There are good superstitions. They are all very good for humanity. They give you peace. They give you solace. You do charity on that day. Remember their lives. How will you educate your children if you don't speak to them of the good people in the world? You can't be speaking about all evil people. You have to speak about good people also, how they led their life, how they faced life, how they achieved so many things. And because of their achievements, you are having electricity, radiation, micro ovens, washing machines. All these things are because of very great engineers and great doctors and great humanists. To remember those humanitarians, the life of great physicists and chemists and all that, that's all taught in the schools. How Newton found Newton's law of motion. They're all they changed the world. Law of gravitation, law of relativity. All these things have had a massive change in the society. Madame Curie found out radiation. To radiation, now the cancer is being treated. So all these things are good things. To remember engineers, doctors, good people, perform charity in their name. Otherwise, there will be no charity in the world at all. There will be no philanthropy. So you avoid such people who talk negatively against good things of life. Because somehow they want to enforce their views in the world. Why they are fighting so much against the NATO forces in Afghanistan? Because they want to acquire power and enforce their way of life, which is not workable. No? Society has advanced to such an extent that you cannot take away women's rights, children's rights, public goodness, public morals, public conduct. We are living with a long beards, long type of kurtas, and holding modern machine guns and all that. And can you force down a person to conduct himself through a machine gun? It has to come spontaneously from the mind and heart. Unless you have spontaneously, it comes from your mind and heart. Nothing can happen. For that, love and ahimsa, they are all very great teachings, tested in time from centuries. That's only non-violence and love and affection. And to bring in love and affection, you need to do all these things. Why do they say Sufism? What has Sufism teaching? Is it teaching you to go after whores, after prostitutes? Is it teaching you to take drugs? Is it teaching you to go for dance and this one? Is it telling you not to do your namaz and all those things? It is asking you to go by the word of God and Prophet ﷺ and saints. They say no, keep the saints away. How can you say? They are the practitioners. They practice what Prophet and Allah and Prophet have, God and Prophet have said in the holy books. how they have performed, how they have overcome all difficulties of life. They are all examples for us. God says, you see my signs which are there around you. There are signs. Why do you do Hajj? You are doing in remembrance of Ibrahim and Islam. You also call it Bidat. Why don't you call that as Bidat? Because there is a mention in the Quran, you say, yes, what about their followers? Yes.
That is it for now.
Thank you very much. I welcome. You are at any time and every time when you come with certain questions, specific questions and all that. Recording हुआ क्या था? Check up how much recording.
Done.
Done.